What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com bringing you my review of the currexSole ACTIVEPRO replacement insoles specifically made for football boots slash soccer cleats. Now let me start off by saying that I think we can all agree that the insoles that come standard with $200, $300 boots nowadays are quite simply not very good. That's kind of been the case with boot insoles from the get-go. They've never been anything more than a thin layer of foam and a liner on top. Often they compress very quickly, they wear out really quickly, sometimes they even tear apart, and getting replacement insoles can be a bit of a pain. I've tried so many different variations of replacement insoles over the years, some specifically made for boots, some not made for boots, and quite frankly, I've never found one that I actually really liked the feel of, or one that fit well, or one that I thought was quite frankly worth the money. But these are different. Not only are they very good quality insoles, they actually offer a lot of benefits that you wouldn't get from the standard insoles that come with the shoes. One being comfort, two being the actual support you're getting from this insole, which is basically non-existent in pretty much every soccer cleat out of the box. And three, it actually does improve the fit of your boots, which might sound a little bit crazy, but I'll explain why that's the case in today's video. So if you want to learn more about these, stick around, watch the entire thing. And if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can click the little pop-up on screen or the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links for these guys in all three different variations: low arch, medium arch, and high arch, for the $49.99 retail price. So if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. So what are these things all about? I'm sure you heard the retail price and right away thought, oh my gosh, those are really, really expensive insoles. And yeah, $49.99 is not cheap. But if you've ever gone to buy replacement insoles before at your local shoe store, because that's pretty much the only place you'll find them, you'll pay $20, $30, sometimes even $40 for very basic foam or those gimmicky gel insoles that quite frankly are not very good. They're barely worth 10, let alone 20, 30, 40 bucks. So as with a lot of high-end stuff, you get what you pay for here with the currexSole ACTIVEPROs, and also they're quite durable, they last a long time, and you can transfer them from one pair of shoes to the next, so it's not necessarily a one-time use pair of insoles. Support is a big deal when it comes to footwear, especially performance footwear. And if you're familiar with high-end running shoes, this is going to be one of the main factors when picking out a brand new pair of runners. When it comes to soccer cleats slash football boots though, this element has kind of been completely eliminated from the equation. You have a perfectly flat sole plate with a perfectly flat insole where really you don't have any kind of underfoot support, which is not necessarily a terrible thing if the shoe fits you properly, but there definitely are benefits to having some kind of underfoot support, both in regards to comfort as well as injury prevention, which is obviously two very, very important things when it comes to footwear in general. Now, I'm sure some of you guys have tried some kind of aftermarket orthopedic insoles that offer some kind of underfoot support, or even custom orthopedic insoles that can be very, very expensive. The problem with those is that they're often very, very bulky, which doesn't work well in a low profile, tight fitting boot, and they can also be too thick, which lifts your heel up too high, which completely screws up lockdown, it completely screws up everything about the fit of the shoe. It doesn't feel the way that it's supposed to, it doesn't fit as well as it would with that stock insole, so you kind of have to live without having support. That's where these change things a little bit. What you're getting with these insoles is not only underfoot support, you're getting underfoot support with a low profile fit that actually improves the fit of your shoes. And I'll explain why that is in just a second. So you can see these come in three different colors: the red, the yellow, and the blue. And the reason for the different colors is because it's three different arch types: red for low, yellow for medium, blue for high. Now, if you're curious, I personally have a low arch type, so I've been using the red variation. And if you need to know which version that you need, and you don't necessarily know your arch type or you're just not sure, you can go to their website and it'll be linked down below in the description. And there's information there that can help you decide on which one is going to be the best fit for you personally. And this is something that is really, really cool, because most aftermarket insoles that I've tried that have some kind of arch support built in, Superfeet is one that comes to mind. It's only one arch type. Whether you need a medium, a high, or a low arch, it's only one arch type that's available on the insole, so you might not necessarily get the best fit. This ensures that you are getting the best fit and the proper arch support for your specific foot, which is really, really important in terms of having optimal comfort, of course. So with the arch support. What's exactly different about this? Because it's not just the fact that it offers arch support, it's the way that it does it. So you're gonna find this piece of plastic, or at least what looks like plastic here on the bottom, and this is their 3D dynamic arch support system. And what's interesting about this, and the key word here is dynamic, because if you've ever worn a custom orthotic insole, you know that they're very stiff and rigid. There's pretty much no movement to that arch support element of the insole. It's solid as a rock, and that's where this is different. The material of this insole is actually nylon 6 composite, which sounds very fancy, and I believe it's a fairly expensive high-tech material, but it offers the structure, but it's dynamic, meaning that it has flex to it, it has a movement, it moves with the natural bend of your foot, which is super, super important, because soccer cleats, for the most part, are very, very flexible. Your foot's gonna be torquing, it's gonna be twisting, it's gonna be bending, and you need an insole that's gonna move with the shoe properly, and these insoles actually do that while still maintaining the arch support element, which is the first time that I've ever experienced this with a pair of replacement insoles, and partially why I think this is such a good product. Now, how does this arch support actually impact the fit of the shoe? Because it does actually make your shoes feel better, which is very, very surprising, and fit is a super important thing. That was the first thing I was really skeptical of when I first saw them. Just with any insole that has arch support, is they almost never fit properly in low profile boots. But I've tried these in about 15 different pairs, and every single pair that I put them in, they fit perfectly and actually improved the fit of the shoe. I really was curious to try these in a pair of Nike Mercurial Vapor 11s, just because it's such a tight fitting boot with pretty much no extra space on the inside. And to my surprise, they fit perfectly and actually were very, very comfortable inside of that shoe, eliminating even more dead space that I didn't even necessarily realize was there. And the way that it does this is not only eliminating dead space under the arch of your foot, but it also eliminates dead space above your foot, because you have to think about when you're actually running, when your foot is in motion, your arch is not necessarily going to stay 100% fixed in place. It's going to collapse and it's going to go up. So you're always going to have a constant variation in extra volume on the inside of your shoe, whether it be above your foot or below your foot. But having this arch support element that actually moves with the flex of the shoe means that you're having that dead space completely cut away on the top and bottom of your feet at all times, no matter whether you're standing, whether you're moving, whether your foot is bent. And that extra bit of elimination of dead space on the inside of your shoe makes them fit that much better. It makes them feel that much more responsive. It cuts down on slippage on the inside of your boot, and it just makes for a better fit and more performance-oriented feel in general. Plus, there are benefits to having underfoot arch support, such as better comfort, as well as injury prevention. So again, it's a really, really cool product in that regard. The construction of the insole is very high quality as well. Now, obviously, the key element that we just talked about is the arch support element on the bottom of the foot. That not only is available in 3 different arch types, they've actually considered how higher arches and lower arches are actually shaped. Meaning that the high arch, when you have a high arch on your foot, the peak of the arch, meaning the highest point, is going to be closer to your heel, whereas the opposite case, a lower arch, the peak of the arch is going to be closer towards the middle of the foot, which is how they've actually designed the arch element on the insoles themselves. So again, you really are getting a truly customized fit and getting the best possible fit for the specific arch type on your foot. Now, the insole itself is made out of 3 different layers of material. You have your mesh liner on top, which is very durable, and also I believe is an odor eliminating type material as well, so they shouldn't stink. I haven't had any issues with them smelling. You also have a mid layer of material, your second layer, which is kind of a more spongy standard foam material you would expect in a standard soccer cleat style insole. And then you have your base layer, which is kind of your shaped foam carrier for the entire insole. It's a slightly stiffer foam, obviously with the perforations throughout, that also allows for the shaped heel. So you can see it has a little bit of a cup shape to it, like you would find from a standard high-end insole as well. Instead of it being completely flat, you get that little bit of shape to it, which just makes them fit that much better and prevents them from sliding around on the inside of the shoe. You're also going to find these 2 blue foam inserts on the bottom of the insole, one in the forefoot and one in the heel. Those are pour-on foam, which you've probably heard of before. We see it a lot in high-end footwear, and it's a very good, soft, impact-absorbing foam that is there for comfort reasons, and it does its part as you would expect it to. The last thing to talk about that I don't think is the most important aspect of this product is the weight. Now, Of course, the weight is going to vary based on the size of the insole. It will not change based on the arch type, so keep that in mind. The low, the medium, the high, they all weigh the same, but obviously a bigger insole is going to weigh more than a smaller insole. And these are available from a 2 US youth size all the way up to, I believe, a 15 US. So you have a pretty good range of sizes to get these in. There's one for everybody basically, and they're trimmed to fit insoles. So I wear the size large, which ranges from a 9 to a 10.5 US. So obviously you have to trim away a decent amount of the insole to get the right shape. And basically all you would do is remove the stock insoles that you're replacing from the boots, put them on top of the currexsoles, and from there, you can either hold them in place and cut around to the shape of the stock insole, or what I like to do and what I would personally recommend doing is holding the insole in place, getting a marker and tracing it around the stock insole so you have the perfect shape and you can just very easily cut along the lines. That's the best way to do it without making any mistakes, because obviously if you cut away part of the insole that you didn't mean to, you can't put it back. You will find that the midfoot area may be a little bit wider on the currexsole versus the stock insole, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend trimming away at the sides. It isn't entirely necessary. They'll very, very likely fit your shoes without trimming away at the sides. If it doesn't fit properly, maybe you can trim a little bit, but for the most part, I didn't find that to be necessary whatsoever in order to get the proper fit. And then obviously once they're trimmed to the proper shape, slide them back in your shoes, you're good to go. You wear these as the only insoles. You don't wear these on top of the stock insoles. Keep that in mind. So coming back to weight, because that's obviously what we were talking about, I compared these to the Nike Tiempo Legend 6 insoles, mainly because it's a similar type construction in that you have the mesh liner on top, the single layer of the foam, and the pour-on insert. So you have similar type materials to a certain extent on the two insoles. In a size 9.5 US, a single Legend 6 insole weighs in at 19 grams, which is pretty light, but on the heavier side for a lot of insoles, because like I said, they tend to be quite thin and quite flimsy, which is partially why they offer no support and aren't very durable. Nonetheless, a currexSole ACTIVEPRO insole, uncut in the size large, weighs in at about 36 grams, and then once I cut it to the shape of the Legend 6 insoles, they weigh in at about 35 grams. So there is a 16 gram weight difference between these and the Tiempo Legend 6 insoles, obviously these being a little bit heavier, but is 16 grams honestly something that you notice on your feet in terms of weight? No, absolutely not, and I really don't think that should be something you're concerning yourself with whatsoever. This is a product that has really opened my eyes to how an insole can impact the feel, comfort level, and general fit of a pair of shoes. Obviously, I've tried just about everything that has come out in the last 5 years or so, and insoles is just one of those things that's been part of the shoe. Yeah, there's slight variation from brand to brand and shoe to shoe, but for the most part, they all blend together and feel very, very similar. With that said, I've just never tried a replacement insole that I thought was better than the standard ones, one that I found comfortable, one that fit properly in shoes. So the standard ones has always been the variation that I've gone with. So when it came to trying replacement insoles again, I was skeptical, but this is a product that, like I said, has changed my mind. These are excellent. They truly are more comfortable. The extra arch support that you get makes your shoes feel that much more stable under your foot. And the elimination of dead space, I think, is a key element to this particular product, to the point where I would put it on the same level, if not a step above, something like True Socks, which is a sock product that eliminates slippage on the inside of your shoe, but unfortunately isn't going to eliminate the dead space that was already there, causing the slippage in the first place. This actually does that. It eliminates that dead space. It makes your shoes fit that much more securely, and it makes for better comfort in general. So as an actual performance product, there is something on offer here from these insoles, similar to what you're getting from True Socks. I would argue a little bit better and more comfortable in general. Can you wear these with True Socks if you wanted to? Absolutely you could. But I think if you're interested in a product like True Socks, you might want to be interested in something like this as well, because they really are that good. If you need replacement insoles, either because your current ones are worn out, or if you just want the support or I guess better fit that these have on offer, I can very, very strongly recommend the currexSole ACTIVEPRO insoles. They're $50, a little bit expensive, I understand that, but keep in mind that these are very well made and very durable as well. So if you put them in your shoes right now and you need to replace your shoes, pull them out, put them in the next pair, they'll still be good, and they'll last you a fairly long time. So again, if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, First link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions regarding this product, leave them down below in the comments. I will do my best to answer any questions that you may have. If you guys enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.